Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, I've got something so simple to share with you, but yet it seems to make such a difference. And what I'm talking about is the angle of your hook on your bait. So let me be very specific in what's brought all this to be something I want to share with you. You know, this year fishing in the Grass River and catching bass after bass on these little finesse fish type of lures that I've been using. And they're made by Z-Man. But there was one lure in particular. It was an imitation crayfish. And I remember one night catching like 30 or 40 bass almost on consecutive casts on this same lure. And then all of a sudden, I noticed that I'd get the strike, I'd hook the fish, and I'd lose it. And I'd been landing almost every single fish. What had changed? And I kept thinking to myself, what's different? I'm using the same lure, the same hook. And then I'd look, and I noticed the hook was angled downward somehow because of the way the fish had made it be in the bait after catching so many. And with it angled at a different angle, the fish weren't getting hooked the same. And I thought, this can't make this big a difference. And so I took the time to rearrange the hook so that it lay straight with the bait, and I started hooking them again. And I noticed then, or I remembered other nights where similar things had happened, and I thought all of a sudden, why all of a sudden am I missing all these fish? Is the rod not right? Is the lure itself not working right the same? Because I'd hook fish and then they get off. And smallmouth are notorious for getting off the line. But in this case, it was this simple little difference of how that hook lay on the bait. And if it was angled downward, it wouldn't hook the fish the same. And now let me jump ahead or jump to another day when I was fishing one of our ponds. That it's one of my favorites. And I was using spinner baits. And we were finding that, okay, this one spinner bait and color and everything was working great. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't working as great. And I discovered that the hook angle on the spinner bait had changed because the fish had really bent the bait up and they'd done different things. And that angle of the hook was making a huge difference of whether I and my buddy Russ would get a really good hookup. So no matter what you're fishing with, just remember this can play a huge role. Now, if you're using a crankbait with hooks that pivot like a treble hook, that's a whole nother thing. But I don't like to use trebles anymore because I think it risks the life of the fish. So I use single hooks, little hooks, and no matter what single hook you're using, be very aware of the angle of that hook and how it angles either upward or downward or whatever, or even sideways, that can make such a difference on your hookup. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.